For this presentation, we're talking about the developmental timeline for children from the age of birth to 8 years old. The first part we want to talk about is birth to 24 months, and that is the sensory motor stage. This stage is the sensory motor stage, and during this stage, the infant focuses on physical sensation and on learning to coordinate their body. The infant learns about the world through their senses and through their actions, and the main achievement during this stage is object permanence, knowing that an object still exists even if it is hidden. In this stage, as they develop, they will know an object is there and they will continue to look for it because they have made up in their mind that that object exists. So for infants to younger toddlers, I use my information from our foundation book. The physical, cognitive, emotional, social, and the linguistic come from that. Examples being they begin to gain control of their body and can roll over and pull self up, explore space with their bodies, respond to familiar adults, follow simple directions some of the time, and react to loud sounds, babble, turn and look at the sound, and they coo. So the next stage covers the remainder. It's the pre-operational stage, and that's 2 to 7 years old. Toddlers and young children acquire the ability to internally represent the world through language and mental imagery. Young children can think about things symbolically. This is the ability to make one thing, such as words or an object, stand for something other than itself. A lot of times you hear about that, and the example that's given is they pick up a banana and pretend it's a phone. A child's thinking is dominated by how the world looks, not how the world is. So older toddlers, like I said, I pulled all of this from the foundation book. Examples being physical, they learn to walk, run, jump. Cognitive, search for objects in several places. Emotional, show a wider range of emotions like joy, sadness, anger, fear, anxiety, or even empathy. Social, they wait for a short amount of time for a turn. Linguistic is use some 1 to 2 word questions, use 2 to 3 word phrases to talk about and ask about things. So the 3 to 4 age, they physically can pedal a tricycle. Cognitive, express pleasure in different forms of art. Emotional, display a caring attitude toward parents, friends, and familiar people. Social, show awareness of their actions affect others. Linguistic, use sentences with 4 or more words. 4 to 5, physical, they are mastering the art of climbing, swinging, somersaulting. Cognitively, they can recount things like their phone number and their first and last names of their parents. Emotional, begins to understand morals such as fairness and good and bad behavior. Social, they still ask a lot of questions, but they can also answer simple questions. Linguistically, they communicate easily with other children and adults. So 6 to 7, physically independently follow basic safety rules. Cognitively, show acceptance of people who are different from themselves, as well as people who are similar. Emotionally, kids get increasingly better at describing what has happened, what they feel, and what they think. Socially, kids are figuring out where they fit and what's acceptable. Linguistically, follow a series of 3 commands in a row. 7 to 8. Physically, they identify people who can help them in the community, such as police, firefighters, nurses. They also are aware of their everyday caregivers, their parents, their family friends, anything along those lines. Cognitively, they talk about how children have different family members and family structures than their own. By this time, they have heard about different cultures and how teachers and classrooms should be promoting, body, and everybody belongs, like a good body image, so they should be able to talk about those differences. Emotionally, communicate understanding and empathy for others' feelings. At this age, they understand if they've hurt their friends' feelings, if they've done good, they've done bad. They have understand and they empathize. Socially, they can follow rules, transitions, and routines that have been explained to them. The majority of the time, at this point, they have a routine set in place. They attend school during the day, and some attend after school programs, and some just go home. so they know what their routine is. Linguistically, they use known letters and approximations of letters to write their own name and some familiar words. I know in the age of 4 to 5, they start doing sight words and learning to read. And they also, in pre-K, begin learning to write their names. So at this point, they should be able to write their own name and use those words and be able to write them out into sentences. And these are my references. This is everything I pulled from to get all of my information about the developmental timelines of children birth to 8 years old.